boys! It's time for some Clubhouse. Oxygen versus W7M. It is our last map of the day. I better be hearing noise after every one of these rounds. We don't talk tonight. That's how this works. We'll let our voice rest. We'll sleep it in. We'll bring it in tomorrow. Let's get into this. Ying's gonna be banned out. We'll also have Maverick removed for this one. Ying's still our most banned offensive operator of this entire tournament. Still going to be showing its ugly head here on Clubhouse. Maverick still a staple of this map as well, and that's why he will be removed. Mira, too, past that, as we've seen her find a lot of success on some of these more aggressive basement setups.
Found a lot more pointed bans inside of this series, too, with teams trying to lean them specifically at their opponent's picks. That's going to kind of stay in play here as we'll look at the Cade for the final ban from W7M. Just not wanting to deal with the counters and the hatch play more than anything on basement attacks. But there's a few other areas where Cade can cause problem points as well. Bandit obviously can be slotted in for a few of them, but not all of them.
Yes, indeed. Kaid banned out, although Thatcher's still up, mostly because nobody wants to be chained to those EMPs. They want to guarantee that things get open. That Maverick ban especially kind of hindering things, in that regard, as well as he is a guarantee that things get open. So both of these teams respecting the other's bans, building this map up to be quite even when it comes down to things. Now, this is where the rubber hits the road. Oxygen on the offensive side, which they picked, and W7M will be starting defense.
And as W7M take on that defensive mantle, we'll see if it potentially gives them the boon that teams usually expect to find on this one. But Stoke's already bringing up their Oxygen, picking to go over towards this side. Clearly, that economy might be starting to shift the other direction if Oxygen feels they stand a better chance by working themselves onto the attack first instead of the defensive side, where in the past at least, teams have been able to exercise far more control over this map. In terms of the operator selects for the defensive setup here, no huge surprises when it comes to W7M's play. Definitely wanting to try and limit things when Oxygen get down into the basement, while also still setting up for some early round shenanigans, as you're going to see KZ and Vulps commit themselves to the second floor roam at the start of this round.
And that's exactly what you can call it, John. Shenanigans. They're looking to get some early kills here. It's probably going to be a messy, gritty round with this clear from Oxygen that has a lot of potential to come in as Foxay dons the logistics hatch. But W7M may just send it back to site early as well here. It's really the look that Oxygen's going to give them. As this timer dwindles, it's kind of a telltale sign of what positioning the offense could be picking up, as they might not clear things. And that is, well, what it's looking to be. Vertical's going to go down the main stairs. The sledge ready on the castle barricade. John, I think this is going to be fast.
As they move themselves in, though, unfortunately,
Noors is
themselves
down
directly into the Capcan setup. This is why they brought it, to prevent these from being successful. Still, he's brought back up. There's not enough time for W7M to rebound on that. Now they're going to have to slow themselves down, though. It's a miracle that Vertical doesn't also get dropped by that as well, which is how low he was brought down. Good thing that they both stay alive here for now, but that is going to freeze them up as they no longer have the HP to commit to the full swing through Moto into the site.
Key differences between a 2 armor and a 3 armor there, John, on full display. Sledge now a 3 armor, and that's the only reason that he lives. If he was still a 2 armor, both of them would lay down on the ground. The rest of Oxygen would have to try and figure out how to get them out of that blood-soaked portion, the bottom stairs. But now W7M, they can just wait patiently. They know that Capcan's probably done some serious, considerable damage to the Oxygen lineup. You can see the patience play now from them. Nitro cells out. It won't do anything to Noors. W7M don't really have to be the one to do much here. They can rest on what they've already accomplished so far in this round, although it was through utility they'd set up in the prep phase.
Be careful with the nades here, given the low HP. So what comes near to blowing up in their face could have very well killed both of them as well, but they get the job done. They're professionals at this level after all, and Sweater scores the first actual kill of the round, even with the damage being made on Vert and Noors earlier on. That's going to prompt the entry, and more than likely the rest of the site follow through here. Now, nicely played by Oxygen so far, not to get tripped up by the Capcan plane, still maintain map control, but now the defenders will start to fight back. Sweater with his second on the round, but that M590 still stands in the way by Moto. Gonna have to work their way past that, as it's just him and JV92. Deeper in Arsenal, I believe, still playing into this one. Holds the very end of the dirt extension. We'll try to play the rest of this out. No plant going down just yet, but Dream counters out Julio's angle in the church. Leaves it all on the dirt player here, and he's got no way to battle out from his position. The swing and a hit from Foxay to end it as they get on the board first.
Some amazing energy out of Foxay, and I said it before and I'll say it again. The most energy I have seen out of this man not only at the NAL, but also at LAN. He is ready for a war. Oxygen, they are playing lights out right now, John. Not only did they get the position finally after having to take some very, considerable gunfights up against W7M, but they stand stalwart in those positions. They don't go too far down the line to where it's destructive. They hold on to blue. They hold the main rotate. They allow Dream. They trust him to work himself into sight and find success with that plant there on the dark spot. He's able to not only get the kill, but get that plant as well. Oxygen, practically a hive mind at this point. They are working so well together.
And now with Oxygen finding that confidence yet again at the beginning of our third map, W7M has to ask themselves, where do we find ourselves in this series? Where do we get back into this game? We thought we were the perfect team. You haven't heard the analysis desk talking about it. I agree with them as well. A near flawless team, basically zero mistakes to critique going into this series, but suddenly things aren't looking that stable anymore, and a trip to the lower bracket potentially becomes more and more likely the more rounds Oxygen get on the board. Only one round having been played out, though, so still plenty of time for this LATAM roster to rebound and find their own path to the grand finals.
Yeah, but here's the thing, John. You think you're mad at home when you lose a round to Rainbow Six Siege. Every single one of these rounds carries the weight of the world. W7M, attentive to every detail. Same for Oxygen. Not a single thing can go missed. That's how these rounds quickly turn on their end. You can lose in a big advantage that you built up already. As for W7M, it looked like that round could have been theirs, but Oxygen more willing, more able from their positioning, especially on their mid floor that they'd garnered earlier in the round, able to wrap themselves around the site and find success. This time, be coming in from the east side as they push in via cash. More than likely, we'll still have a few people playing around some pivotal locations out on the master balcony. Newers almost too aggressive of a look there. So he tried to swing back through the wall, but fortunately not for him, and those bullets going to make any contact.
Oxygen, the slow approach so far here to their second attack as W7M continue to hold the extremities upstairs, specifically over towards construction. Have given up the cash hold already. They'll just re-secured the Logi play as well, and now they know pressure is going to begin boiling in there from Oxygen at any moment. Still quite a bit for our attackers to actually work their way against, including that nitro thrown in there, but apparently read appropriately by our attackers. Nades and explosives going off from both sides right now, but neither one finding success as OXG try to set themselves up for the site clear now.
Some good drone work here from Oxygen, but we're going down into the dying minute now. Fantastic Valk Cam selection here from Julio. That'll be piloted by KZ for some time. Both have full lineups, which means this last minute is going to be an absolute hellscape no matter what way you try and dice it. Be able to find some of the drones working their way in, and now the shots out from their respective squads. 2 big kills as the bodies will fall to the floor, but nothing to come from it past that. Nitro cell lineup for KZ as he awaits somebody rotating in via the jacuzzi wall. Newer's also with a frag grenade of his own. He'll chuck that deep, but the Wamai disc will eat that up. With only 30 seconds remaining, Oxygen must find a place to put this case. It's going to be in Dream's hands here as Foxy's going to propel himself forward. Nitro cell late. He's found a home inside of Waits, but they have to get more kills. They have to get these angles shut down, John, but KZ, he's ready for it, looking for the second kill there in that situation, his third on the round, but it's the rest of W7M, a triple for KZ, and Vert, so late to the party, everybody's already went home, he's dead, W7M, and KZ especially, with a hell of a round.
Some echoes from our first map there as once more W7M refused to give up an inch in their actual site setup, constantly shutting down any attempt from Oxygen to steal that map control away, especially KZ on the inside of the Showers position with the wild swings and the refusal to give that up. Continue to hold back the tide from the rest of Oxygen's execute, and ultimately was the main proponent and the main player that stopped this play from going further into it.
I mean, what a stalwart way to play that bathroom position. Practically not moving the entire time, but able to deal the death blow to 3 out of the 4 kills that he found, all from playing inside of the shower and proper angle work. So beautiful, especially that kill that he picked up onto, I do believe, Foxy, creeping his way in Waits. Such a tough ask of him in that position, but still able to get it done. Now W7M, they'll tie things up here on the defensive end of a Clubhouse, and they're going to go to our most successful site so far this entire event. When it comes to this map, it's going to be CCTV in cash.
W7M now rebounding here. Gonna give us a pretty normal expectation of things on this upstairs hold as well. Most notably, of course, we will have the Azami played out there by Wolves. More than likely, he'll be the player to maintain garage control, and indeed, it's going to be the case as they rotate into it. Still supported by the Frost Mats and a deployable shield as well from JV92 to make sure that this position is not given up easily by any extent of the word. No Montaigne deployed by Oxygen, so they will have to kind of directly contend against this, but should have more than enough to deal with it, as they're already opening things up on the primary wall outside.
Now the hard breach going to go off successfully for Oxygen, but they are going to be attacking, once again, one of our most difficult sites to try and bust up. Not only is Clubhouse our most played map in this tournament, John, at 24 plays, but Cast CCTV is one of our most successful bomb sites. It's got 33 plays, but a 73% win rates defensively. See if Oxygen has anything to say about that stat line.
I think Njors knows the pain point for this execute. For a lot of teams, they've been getting tripped up, clearing out the back cache and top red positions. That's what prevented attacks from being successful, at least from what I've been doing, more times than not. So he's going to try to take up that position for himself. Already getting to the bottom of the staircase. Just needs some supporting angles to justify a play going directly to the top of it, whether it's going to be a nade from him, a call out from his teammates once they get a drone to the inside, or something else. Once the justification is given, he'll be the one to swing up top and start the action for his team. More than likely, never mind. Foxay's taken that instead. He's gone directly in, and already 2 players are down. One on the catwalk outside, still another to be dealt with, but Foxay will grab that one as well. Finally dashed, however, by Julio as he sprints out from his top red position. Should prompt for Norris and a few of the others to begin working their way in, but he's too busy. Still working on controlling the situation on the inside of Garage as W7M continue to fight back from inside of it.
Well done from these respective squads. Foxay with an early call as he simply berades W7M, moving in off of the breach, able to get some really, really big kills. Dream be able to at least clean up KZ and confirm this 3 versus 2, although more than likely not going to happen when it came to getting him back up. Hertz is going to prepare the nitro cell for delivery. That tape rip already gone, but now gun back in hand, so they will have that audio cue if it does end up coming to fruition. Going to continue to try and hold things down on cash. Oxygen have got to find a home for this case, though, and that's the biggest issue right now. Over on the garage side, have they been able to make the breach? They'll be able to work their way in. Dream planting up close and personal, but now he's down via the smoke and dead. Julio gets it dealt with his last 2 smokes, and only 30 seconds remain for Oxygen to try and clutch this up.
W7M is such a difficult team to play against. You never know when they're going to get suddenly hyper-aggressive. And an otherwise incredibly passive hold here. Vertical, though, with the catch, finally lashes onto Herds' timing and is able to take him down, but he still has another target, and he's all that remains here. Dashes to the inside of it. Julio has him from down below.
Oh, no.
There's a red ping there. It won't matter as
the angle.
The timing, the angle, it's going to work out. A zombie barricade blocks it, though. Will give Dream the clutch, and indeed, it's going to be captured by Oxygen as they take the lead yet again.
There's no way in hell the Kiba barrier is what blocks the angle on Cash.
The ultimate twist of the Azami barricades working in the attacker's favor instead. A double-sided edge to that knife for sure. And indeed, things still nearly falling out of Oxygen's control. We saw it, the original plant attempting to go down does not work out. Vertical has to clutch it out instead here for OXG, and they get the job done. The plant going down where Dream could not, and the clutch immediately afterwards had the cerebral read on that red rotate and immediately shut down the attempted clutch from W7M.
Man, I got goosebumps after that one, John. Vertical, what a moment for him. One that will call back on Clubhouse as well if they're able to take this series. So far, so good for OXG. The ship's staying together. There's been some rogue waves, but they're getting through it. 2 rounds so far on the offensive end. They're building up now, John. This basement execute, it was so strong for Oxygen. Looked very, very good for them, especially with their willingness to fight, their willingness to adapt from some of those hard stuck positions we saw over on main. Able to get that rotation over towards blue, and that's where we saw Foxay light a fire under Oxygen. They were able to claim that first round that looked quite muddy.
It's just what we expected to get so far out of this map. Truly testing the full metal of both of our teams as they've unfortunately, at least one case or the other, fallen apart in the first 2 maps here, leading to 2 very one-sided score lines. Don't believe that we're going to be in for the same thing here on map number 3 as they go back and forth. W7M looks to get revenge yet again on their basement hold. No immediate execute coming through this time for Oxygen to try and take immediate control of the bottom main stairs area. But Nours, as you can see, still looking to quickly work control over Blue. As he takes out some of the supporting utility, that barbed wire at the bottom of the stairs to prime himself for the push when he and his team are ready to move towards it. We'll have to wait a little bit longer to get to that point though, as there's still a bit of momentum to build up.
Yeah, lots of time on the clock when it comes to a basement attack for Oxygen. Not only that, they do have some soft destruction around the space and potentially need to suss out a position inside of Strip Club. I don't believe there's anybody there, but it's just ghost pressure built up from W7M, forcing the clear here from OXG. We're gonna get a little insight on this, and yeah, nobody home. They just broke this open to be annoying. Force Oxygen to try and respect a possible position there, but obviously not the case for OXG. They begin working their way down the stairwell. Have to be attentive to the nitro cells that tend to pour their way into the bottom of main.
Sweater having reached the precipice, but again, not fully convinced just yet. The rest of the team still needing to drone things out for full confirmation. And W7M not giving over anything on their own aggressive hold here. Nor's trying to spot it, but obviously limited really by his scope right now and the ability to catch that in the distance. Eventually grabs it though. Volps crosses too many times into his vision. And finally, on the second or third attempt, Nours will latch on, grab a headshot against him, and score the first kill of the round.
I mean, Volps, you're messing with a bad, bad man.
He's been doing this all tournament as well.
This entire time, John, and nobody's putting any respect on his damn name. I'm getting tired of it. Nours has the best rating in this entire event. You don't peek a man like that. 2 down for W7M. Oxygen dominant in round 4 so far. KZ with a moment in blue. Damage down onto him, Nitro Cell out. He's still alive, but JV92 will take down Nours. Gives him an opportunity. We know just how dominant he is in these dying minutes, and that's gonna be a huge moment for W7M. But Foxay, he's found a hole inside of the back line. He'll take down 2. Big plays here from Oxygen. Julio now the only man alive for them to try and pick up these pieces. He'll be able to at least kill the planner.
Too late
though. Has a bead on somebody. Has a rotation, knows that the line's around, prone angle, but now they're all aware of each other. Where is Foxay? Has he made the rotation upstairs? He has indeed. He's playing inside a freezer, so very smart. He just has to hold on to this, allow Sweater to play this out down low, waste time. Julio on the triple wall, back and forth he goes, but the timer, it continues to dwindle. Only 18 seconds remain. He has to make a move, and it has to be now. Oh, almost finds the lion there. He'll be able to take down Sweater, but now Foxay has to mess this up from upstairs. It will only a moment's notice.
Time.
There's no time indeed, John. Oxygen with 3 rounds on the offensive side.
The lead claimed by the North American roster once again, just 4 rounds away now from a spot in the grand finals. Meanwhile, on W7M, so close to success, but the impatience gets the better of them. They don't pay the proper respect to Nours' top blue angle, and once again, the beginning of the snowball is claimed by him. As he gets that free kill, the rest of the aggression from Oxygen is unleashed. They feel the confidence to move forward at that point. Without that kill, doubt we would have seen that end up happening. Just a little bit more hesitance, a little bit more of a passive hold from W7M, and in my opinion, this round may have gone a completely different direction.
Oxygen have found the perfect point to stop, to allow W7M to start going for these aggressive swings, and they are constantly dominating off them. Not only did you see it from Nours there, John, but you saw it from Sweaters inside of Moto. 2 W7M members swinging into his location, and that's exactly what he wants. They're giving the kills over. There's a massive gap now, and then you get plays like Foxay up dirt. There's not enough people alive for W7M to manage all of these ways that Oxygen can abuse them inside of these late rounds. So I'm really looking to W7M to try and force that clock more. Try and keep some more bodies alive. You can still go for those early interactions. Just don't get down to a 2 versus 5.
Big props to Sweater, by the way. Critique was set his way by the analysis desk after his performance on map number 1. He immediately realized it and was by far one of the biggest proponents to Oxygen's success back on map number 2 and is remaining that player here on map number 3. He might be the big difference maker right now that pushes Oxygen over the edge and into the grand finals if they continue to excel in the way they have been so far here with now the 3-1 lead over W7M. Already back on the board, of course, and beginning to clear things out upstairs so they can begin the transition from cash site over to the gym bedroom hold that W7M currently claims.
Well, W7M, if there was a time, it's now. One of the best in Brazil that we have ever had. And they're here at the Six Invitational to try and prove that they can lift a hammer. This is the upper bracket finals for those of you that don't know. Both of these teams still have a life. No matter what happens, no matter which team loses, they still have to go to the lower bracket and play things out there. This is for who is able to get to the grand finals first. And Oxygen definitely making their case. W7M, though, still have a long road ahead of them. Still a lot to this tale for both of these squads to try and decide it here on Clubhouse. Oxygen now with the top floor assault of the EMPs out, as well as the exothermics. They're going to get the single panel for construction here.
It's going to be both, of course, the hard breaches used now. Not going to have another one in pocket to save for later on in the round, but it looks like they already dealt with the jacuzzi balcony as well, considering that Dream is currently down 2 of his Selmas.
So wild that Newers has gotten here already as well, already halfway through. W7M, I don't think they had any actual control over the garage balcony.
I'm reloading.
Nothing really there, nothing doing. This extension from W7M has been left. Newers with a frag grenade over now, but oh no, Julio actually a misread there. Didn't see him through the wall, but Oxygen definitely did. Frag grenade in, Julio down, and Oxygen with the man advantage again.
Timing on the nade is perfect for Oxygen. Catches Julio just as he reattains the position in cash. No one else here as Oxygen swings around there. They'll have confirmation of it too. You can see it one final time, and it literally was just as he came back into the room. Watching that replay there, you can see him running back in and immediately trying to run back out when the nade hits the ground. Obviously, too late to evacuate, however, as Oxygen now once again claim the opening kill of the round here. Noor's gonna pocket the nade and just deal with the zombie barricade real quick. Foxe will claim the kill that Noors was going to look for. Once again, Foxe continuing to also have a heck of a match here. His first play on the main stage in quite a few years. Volps, though, firing back against it. It's not going to be left as the only player left alive here as the rest of his teammates fall down, but he still brings it into the 1v1 with his 3rd kill on the round. Noors, can he get the better of him, though? No, the shotgun wins it out instead. And W7M respond with one more pickup.
And that's the W7M that we're used to seeing, feisty all the way down to the wire. They finally get another defensive round here on Clubhouse. It just takes master in order to do it. Fantastic extension out towards the western side, over towards Cash. Able to get at least a decent amount of time delayed, but Oxygen making their case for the site. It was finally Volps that was able to lock things down with this shotgun play, trusting the M590, able to get a very precise shot with that SMG-11 as well. W7M needed somebody to step up to the plate. It happens to be named JV92.
So W7M one more round away from tying it up, but indeed locking in that 50-50 map share percentage that Stokes is talking about at the beginning of this play. OXG, however, at the same time, has given us one heck of a show so far here. Which is one more round going into their control. They'll have the advantage switching over to that defensive side also. Just W7M with a few small change-ups going into this final round here. Most notably on JV92's own operator selection. The Thorn into this one. See if those traps will potentially trip things up for Oxygen. As already, we have seen it in the past with Capcan. OXG potentially not checking a few things, leading to the death or near death of some of their own players. And even then, though, still able to win the round. So even this switch up may not be enough for W7M to capture their own personal 3rd.
Well, if they were able to do it, it would mean the most to the Brazilian fans, not only at home, but here in Montreal as well. Oxygen are ready for war, though, as we've seen over these last 2 maps. Sweater's going to be back onto the IQ, one of the hallmark operators for him at SIs. A lot of people have been trying to figure out their way around these Valkyrie camps, figure out their way around Solus, John. It seems like that's been the answer for a lot of these moments. Past that, also a very good gun to boot. Speaking of guns, well, Newers has been quite hot with his. He's got quite the pivotal position right now. He's going to be down inside of blue. So Gone 6 going off as he'll clean up. I do believe one of the Banshees immediately to his left, but he's going to take his time with this. Doesn't want to push too far. He's got the ping on the one player, and he's got the damage, but he can't find it. JV92 goes down. Oxygen, they've opened up the door to sight, but finally, W7M slam it shut back in their face. Julio with a big pickup, KZ as well, and it's a sea of orange across the field.
Oxygen still trying to drone into this one. I believe Foxe currently on that one. We're being forced off of it due to the basically 2v4 that they'll be thrust into. Julio confirming it now as he's finally brought back up. Dream, not even sure if he's aware of the player up on top, but certainly watching for it. As Foxe also tries to control a bit of a situation over here on the top of the Moto hatch. We'll try to open that one up to give himself and the rest of his team a bit more room to execute. But indeed, Dream now totally aware of Herds' own position, but can't really do anything about it. Him and Foxay gonna have to try and work together. Foxay taking command of this scenario instead as he goes upstairs, counters the rotation from Herds. And Herds perfectly fine. He'll just camp out right here and wait for the aggro to come his way.
Patience from W7M. We'll see if it's a virtue. Have to stick to their game plan, stick to their guns, and they'll find one. Nice find from KZ inside of blue. It's a triple kill for him on the round. Up to Foxay now to try and collect himself, collect this for OXG. They'll start off here, but what a pinch from Herds. W7M, they're not gonna let this go quietly into the night, oh no. Oxygen, we're here to play. It's 3-3 on the half, so we'll switch sides. Oxygen and W7M, both with an opportunity to close us out in regulation. We're practically 0-0.
A dead heat between these two teams. Now an opportunity, of course, for both of them to reset things and forge a path to victory. Yet again, it's Oxygen back on the defensive side now, of course, so they have the opportunity to dictate the state of play, both in terms of where we're going to be going and how we're going to be playing these rounds out. Do they want to get in the face of W7M and immediately challenge them, or do they want to hold things back and try to play a much more passive game, as we saw W7M shift themselves into to finally close out a few more rounds at the end of this half? Oxygen immediately with a double stack over here to prevent the moto push from W7M if they try to play that through that doorway. The rest of their hold, though, it is looking like once more we'll have a pretty straightforward hold in the depths of the basement, but don't forget we'll also have probable extension upstairs as well when we consider the operator selections in play between the Solus and as well Sweater's pick over to the Azabi.
No IQ in play here for W7M, so won't be able to exactly thwart all of her game plans, but they do have the Lion, as well as some other key pieces of utility to try and assist with this site, as well as assist with these players and attempting to hold them down, keep them at bay. Sweater's going to be quite aggressive here over towards stock initially. This is not the worst thing in the world, honestly. A lot of people getting caught off guard simply by this door just being broken down. We'll see if JV92 is that type. We have back off here from Sweater. While the door is open and he sees that far angle just got sealed up. So JV92 very aware that Sweater was just in this area. He's going to force himself back towards Secret, seal up that door with one of the kunai.
JV92 is still here for the clear, however, will follow his drone up to the second floor. Begin flushing down any of the remaining pressure from OXG. Obviously not much of it left still in play on the second floor, so just up to W7M to get full confirmation on that. Have the defaults and a few other things as well on the way down. But it will be slow play from our attackers here as they still try to build up enough momentum and confidence to get fully into Oxygen's setup and not lose the breadth of their own defense or their own attack in the process here. KZ, the overwatch on blue, and probably going to stay here for the foreseeable future until he's given the go-ahead by his teammates.
Still so much time on the clock for W7M to process the site setup and get this soft destruction dealt with. That's going to be our first sign of the timing from here from W7M, as we'll have some of the X-Kairos go off. Able to at least get the bar hatch, and they'll start over on Kitchen. Foxay's going to try and make some holes here to try and prevent things, not only from the angle outside that he's going to continue to try and play with, but prevent these X-Kairos from going down. Really no way for him to find too much success here as the angle is playing against him. Right up against that windowsill is where the Habana is able to just swing through, find that, just so happens to not be the angle that he can work. But now, able to find himself a pivotal position through said hatch. Although W7M going to be quick work of that past that moment. Foxay no longer able to hold them at bay, so the kitchen hatch will be opened as well as the other hatches around the space. They'll get blue control now too.
I have to respect the aggression there from Foxay, trying desperately to get that headshot pick off from the other side of the kitchen hatch. Just a bit too difficult of a shot to land, however. The stars do not align for him and the rest of OXG to prevent that hatch opening. So W7M has reached now that pivotal point of the round, ready to move themselves down into the defensive setup. Just not a lot of excess time to get the job done. And of course, Foxay still firing back through those top-down openings here. He's got to be careful as he's being aggressively hunted now by the players on the other side. Ends up trading with his opponent as they both go down. And now more pressure starts to work its way. And Herds thought for sure he'd already got the kill on Sweater, but a double dash back in, claims that kill, and one more on top of it. Vertical to respond here on the defense. defense, but now he's alone. Foxy already down, and Herds to once again clean things up. It's W7M to take the lead as we head deeper into the second half.
This right here, John, is why we never counted them out. Oxygen, they were able to find some serious contributions when it came to their offensive side, but W7M, they're so good when it just comes to Siege overall, no matter what side of the coin they're on. And they are always willing to take it down to the wire, take it down to these gunfights. That's what we see so far here from W7M. Fantastic ability to process the map quickly and start this execution, carving Oxygen out of church, getting a place to put this plant down. We move forward now as Oxygen feeling as though that basement really wasn't the best, so they're going to try it all over again, but with some different operators.
So a lead for our Latin American squad. Now they need to keep it though, as OXG goes right back into the depths of the basement for another retry themselves. A few switch ups on their selection here, not as aggressive. They're gonna peel back, double down on the trap operators, it looks like, as doors will go over to the Legion. On top of that, the cap can also gonna be played out here by Foxy. Try and trip up the very fast clear that W7M went for, only in those final 30 to 40 seconds of it though. The thing is, W7M, once more, an incredibly smart team, often able to read into these change-ups and adjust their own strategy as needed. So expect a bit more faster play this time from our attackers to try and get over that potential issue of clearing out the traps downstairs. Oh, and a hop out here from Noors to potentially start it, but the timing is not there. JV92 assists and shuts down the aggro from Noors.
That slight second of hesitation, John. Do I go? Do I not go? Happens to be the timing that kills him there. Herds now. Important gunfight. Not able to win it out against Sweater just yet. He'll seal up one door. That means another one's open. Moving his way around inside of Lounge, attempting to delay more time, especially with the kunai that he's able to apply around these Kiba barriers, meaning so much to the position that he's been able to muster here for some time. Now he's going to be forced back in the first minute. Oxygen already losing Newers, obviously, so this round now paramount, especially this next pick. But that means that W7M have the full map to work with, the full breadth map control at their disposal to begin breaking up these hatches, trying to set things up for their success going into our last minute.
There's the replay there of Noors getting caught once again from the perspective of our attacker that grabbed it. Herds though with a nice IQ pick, gonna find immediate counter to these trap setups down below, make them a non-issue if we have to see a last-second execute come in here. Vert in the meanwhile, testing his own strength. He's in a very forward position against the Moto hatch. No angles though, as the player that had just peeked in a moment ago, now long gone. Foxy elsewhere on the map is going to have some better success. I believe once again playing into those top-down angles. He actually finds the shot, it looks like, against JV92 that he was looking for on the last round, but obviously it evaded him this time, finds it much more directly. That's going to slow down the overall clear from W7M. There we go. There's the replay of Foxy's pick. One more time there on the right. Sweater to claim the second kill of the round now with the elimination of Volps also.
Herds is going to focus on Mud here, but they're obviously going to be aware of his positioning as he breaks down the soft barricade. We do still have a logic bomb on KZ though, and plenty of stuns and other pieces of utility abound for W7M. Foxy is going to try and hold things down in AK, does have the assistance, but the damage, it's going to send him reeling. So very low now, a nice shot there from Dream. He knows the IQ still inside of Dirt, battling back and forth, but it's going to be vertical. W7M, it's up to Julio. He's had an amazing series so far, John. He's 8-3 after that kill, but he's got so much more to do. The stun grenade's out, it'll blind him, it'll stop him for a moment. It'll be long enough for Dream to work his way back in. Oxygen tie things up yet again here on Clubhouse.
Great support coming in from Foxy's teammates to prevent him from getting pinched out from blue there. Finds the kill against it at pretty much the perfect time and allows him to be pretty much an unbeatable obstacle to the member of W7M that has been attempting to push in through Dirt. Foxy as well finds success now in preventing the kitchen hatch from being open. So beautifully done as they're able to double down on things and find immediate correction to the mistakes that caused them to lose the initial hold. Now locking it down for the next 2 rounds as they move to the next site on their own personal rotation upstairs into the gym bedroom hold, following a very, very similar path to what we saw W7M take. Still tied up though, 4-4. Both teams need 3 rounds in order to win it here in regulation.
I mean, let's be honest. We're probably going to overtime. We're not. They're going to chain us.
Likely outcome.
Yeah, they're going to chain us to this casting desk. We're not leaving tonight. That's how this works here. Fortunately enough, we do have a limit for not only our own psyche, but our own voices. So if we do end up going to OT, it'll be a best of 3 rounds. I know, guys. So sad. So sad. You guys all want to stay here all night. But Oxygen and W7M have to close out this clubhouse some way, somehow. See if they can force that OT, or if one of them has the gall to end it here in regulation. It's 4-4. Oxygen going to be going to a successful site that we saw from W7M earlier on in the likes of Master Bedroom.
Attacker lineup.
Ooh,
change.
Foxy. Little Foxy downstairs. Looks like we're going to be going on the roam. See if he can potentially get in behind W7M on this offense.
Like you said, he's got energy about him right now that we have not seen in a long time, and that's definitely showing in-game with the amount of impact that he is having on a round-to-round basis, even just from that basement hold there. Slows down the clear tremendously, both with the pick he finds against the Habon up on top, and the hold against the Dirt player too. Quintessential to Oxygen's success in the previous round, and I imagine this round is going to be no different. W7M though, changing up their lineup to correspond to this site take. Immediately with the Thatcher in place, should have no problem whatsoever in opening up the Jacuzzi wall. Even though we do have the bandit play from Sweater sitting just on the other side, and he'll more than likely have tucked himself into the relative safety of the bathroom. Oh no! He'll actually get pitched by Herds, who pushes the main stair at the exact time the Jacuzzi wall was being popped.
What an incredible setup from W7M. They know the bandit has to try and hold down the wall. They play the timing perfectly. Herds, he goes fishing up main stairs, and he finds himself a Sweater. Not exactly the greatest fish in the world, but it's something. Oxygen now, after that Sweater death, they'll need something back. W7M, though, they're going to slow things down. They don't want to try and challenge Oxygen's sleuthiness. They've been able to constantly get big picks throughout this tournament, especially off of some of these patient plays that we've seen from them. It's going to be a markup. Oh, it looks like it'll deliver. Herds onto Dream. Oh, so very lucky that concrete exists. The fragmentation will not grace Dream's doorstep.
Herds does dump a second nade on top of him too, so the utility now gone for him. As Stokes mentioned, Foxy sitting on the other side of this read. The drone heading in that direction, though. Will read directly into Foxy's hole. He's going to stick around, at least take the initial challenge. Quickly dashes back down the steps, though. On getting the full peek from Herds. 1-to-1 exchange between KZ and Newers. Herds quickly corrects upon Dream to give his team back the advantage in this scenario here. Vert with the jump out. A little bit more credence back into the round for Oxygen, but it won't stay in play for long. Vertical and Foxy quickly dealt with, and the lead now regained by the Latin American roster as W7M go up to 5.
It's Herds all day here for W7M, and he's able to get it all done off of the back of a regular, old schmegular wall opening, John. Something that happens every single day. That Jacuzzi wall is getting opened in a ranked game somewhere around the world right now. And he has the experience, the intelligence to try and force it up main in that opportune time to try and counteract Oxygen's play against the Jacuzzi wall. Not only that, but the big plays against the Valkyrie downstairs. He is always attentive to every detail, and it is helping out W7M tremendously.
Herds once again with the big entry power that we've been seeing in earlier phases of the tournament as well. The rest of the team really stepped up their own performance, so he faded into the limelight just a little bit here, but now in one of the most important series so far for this team in the tournament, he has come out once again in a massive way so far in this second half to dominate on the entry for W7M and continue to set up the lead. Even if it's just by 1 round, sets up the lead that could very well, at a minimum, carry W7M into overtime here. You were wondering, we had a bit of a break, of course, between that previous round. It was the tack timeout from Oxygen as they took a minute to figure out what's been going wrong on these opening rounds of the second half, and how do we very quickly correct this to still stay in control.
Oh my, they're going to run it back on the site that we had just seen where Herds took full control of the entirety of Master. Oxygen choose to double down, see if they can find success here yet again. If they don't, that's map point for W7M. That means 2 flawless rounds from Oxygen past that. So far it's been neck and neck. It's been a teeter-totter between these two. It seems like they simply can't stay away from each other, John. So for me personally, I feel like Oxygen will pick up this round, but we know just how strong of a team W7M are. Again, like we said earlier, possibly the best team in the world right now. But Oxygen still with a couple of chances to try and slow him down.
we'll see if they can accomplish that. Coming hot off of the pause from the previous round. Renewed birth potentially for the defensive sided strategy here. Foxay going all the way over to the Soulless as well. Full confidence in his own performance. Trust him on an operator like this. We'll see what type of impact he's going to continue to be able to make here. As Norse doing some Norse things, trying to line up for a pre-fire against the initial push from W7M. That's so far not coming up with anything.
First logic bomb out here from KZ. So it'll be out near the main gate spawn. W7M haven't gotten too aggressive, minus getting Herds in down low. That's what that first logic bomb was used for. W7M able to get on their cameras and clear out a lot of portions of the building, including his entryway downstairs. That's the beauty of those logic bombs. So W7M now know the portions of the map, at least initially, that are cleared out, not being held from Oxygen. That's why they're being so forward with their play. Herds, will grace the likes of Cash begin moving himself in here as the rest of W7M start breaking up some of the windows and other things, trying to set up some crosses for their teammates in the building.
Herds still in position here, waiting for the first strike that he can commit himself towards. As he tries to lean into it, not being given anything, and you can see all these silhouettes from Oxygen lined up to counter him. The nade in though, and it finds a mark, vertical, dead to rights, no response to be found just yet. And W7M to immediately steal full control of construction away off of that one. A bit of resistance still potentially to be thrown in from the Logi side. Yours as well. He can see someone leaning out from Cash there. Just not actionable. Tries to line up for it though, and indeed gets the pick. Herds to go down, bringing it on to a 4v4. An even keel between both teams here as we enter the final minute of play.
Inhuman reaction time there from Newers. Just the hair of Yana exposing there, immediately rips her head off. So 4 versus 4. W7M still set up for success here. Do have Julio the hard breach on the Jacuzzi side, but I don't believe they have a way to actually get this wall open. No EMPs on KZ, but a kill. His sweater will wander a little too close to the sun. Ends up dying to an unbeknownst angle. They're on the drone hole. Oxygen now worse for wear because of it. JV92 will take some damage, but this logic bomb, it's assisting them. They know where a decent amount of these players are now. Oxygen will be able to equalize going into the last 30 seconds, though.
Volps has a target, knows he's got someone sitting behind the weights inside of Jim. The timing on the execution from Foxay as well. KZ thinks he's safe. Volps apparently just has to go for it on the hop into the bedroom window here, trying to take down his opponent, Julio. Will end up claiming the kill against Newers instead, but it matters not, as the refrags show up pretty much instantaneously to tie us up again between Oxygen and W7M here. 5-all as we enter the final 2 rounds of regulation.
This series is just gonna keep on giving, folks, so I hope you're here for it. Stay glued to that screen because these last 2 rounds are gonna be paramount here. Frag grenade in there from Herds. W7M, I think they had some really solid contributions. The biggest issue was they couldn't get the Jacuzzi wall open. Why is Julio playing hard breach if we can't even open the wall that he's supposed to open? That's the biggest issue there for him. They brought no EMPs, John, to try and get a key, try and get an access point to the Jacuzzi wall. So instead, they had to try and funnel on in, and clearly it didn't work out.
Potential spicy operator pick showing up here in the attacker repick for Herds specifically, as they're potentially going to opt for a fuse pick on the next coming round here. Still got a couple of seconds, of course. We could end up shifting himself away from it, but you can see the commitment there at the bottom right side of the screen. Pretty much the entire team is going to end up changing their lineup to correspond to the basement hold now from Oxygen. The fuse certainly going to help to potentially get players like Foxay out of the way of the window hatch clear. A few other positions where we could find those nades being very useful too. So this could end up being a very smart selection when everything is said and done.
Won't be too scary for Herds to try and operate around a lot of that soft destruction either, because Dream is the only one with a nitro cell. So it's not going to be too risky. Obviously, I mean, there is a chance of death still, so got to at least put that in the description of the job, but doesn't seem like it'll be too risky for him. At least initially, Newers so much damage off that frag grenade, practically perfectly cooked. Sweater's trying to help him now too. They're going to fight fire with fire. Impacts out. JV92 and Herds both lit up. Are they actually going to make it out of this? I think they are. They've been able to match W7M's energy, and they're like, oh, no.
W7M just gives the full respect over. They back up entirely from the window and go back to the usual second floor, as well as kitchen clear now.
Too much important utility still in their pockets. You have those EE1Ds from JB92. You have the entire fuse kit here with the cluster bombs from Herd, something they haven't even seen yet. But might have seen fuse there, so could know these clusters are coming. Just have to see.
Herds, of course, now working himself over to that top kitchen position where there's plenty of spots to place down the fuse chargers themselves. One already set up and had been previously used. We're going to see if another one yields results once he's ready to do so, but expected to show up around the 120 mark here when himself and Julio are ready to begin working things over on the kitchen side. Right now, kind of helping out his teammates, trying to make sure that Oxygen aren't swinging up the staircase to reestablish their own aggressive hold. The Terror Drone's even being used for soft breach now on the main hallway floor to try and open things up. There's obviously no sledge in play for this lineup because they brought the fuse. They do need more creative ways to establish top-down angles.
Do have the beauty of time, though, as well on their side, especially after the big kill onto Fox A. W7M might have the opportunity at their fingertips. They've taken down the leader, and now they just have to take out the pack. Low HP still on JV92, but I do believe he still has an EE1D in his pocket. That could be the call sign for their aggression coming later. Continue his drone game here, and Herds still so many clusters at his disposal as well. When will those come through? KZ will take down Sweater. Herds is going to move in. They could just use this on the triple wall to try and clear up Cash, or rather Church. It's going to be some stuns in. Dream's going to get marked up. I do believe that might be the clone there from the Yana. We'll just have to see. Yes, indeed, KZ is going to be back up on the other end. Vertical ready for this.
Counter.
And to win it out. 2 OXG wins, but also an OXG death. Vertical to try and pick this up at the angle. It's too strong. Plays back to it. Can't find the kill. Swings in from the main door, but W7M are the first ones on the match point.
Only one attempt to shut it down. However, if we see any form of response from Auction coming up in the next round, that triggers immediate overtime and 3 more rounds to decide the winner of this series. Either way, though, it's map 3, so we'll be locking it in here on this map. Let's see if W7M can get things done now as Auction really going to throw us for a curveball, at least as far as NA play is concerned. Bar is their next upcoming site.
I mean, well, you got to try something, don't you? Might as well go all the way into the back of that little black strat book and pull out the thing no one expects. It's going to be Bar, our least played site here on Clubhouse, but one that has actually turned a lot of people into a believer over this last year. It used to be that this site was completely unplayable, folks. Everybody would scoff at you, not only as a regular, everyday Rainbow Six player, but as a team if you went to this site. Clearly not the case anymore. Oxygen banking everything on the fact that they can win here on Bar right now in Clubhouse.
It's found its state of play, starting out more than anything inside of EU. If memory serves me correctly, we've slowly seen those strategies bleed out, start to be incorporated more and more by other regions. Oxygen's certainly going to be taking the cake on that one as they play things entirely upstairs for the most part on the start of this hold, and will slowly but surely wrap themselves back into the defensive setup downstairs as the need arises for it. But we'll be looking to abuse these top-down angles as much as humanly possible if W7M tries to go for a direct play. As we have them out onto the board, then we'll pay attention to their opening clear. A lot of it going to emphasize getting past this jacuzzi wall, but at the same time, only those 2 pocket impact EMPs for JV92 to use and potentially help out with the clearance on this one. Very possible we could still see the defenders maintain their hold on that wall. That'll create some serious issues for W7M if it remains the case.
So much solid position adopted into this lineup, or solid play adopted in this lineup for W7M when it comes to this utility. You have the logic bombs of the Doki, you have the EE1Ds of the Lion. That's such a strong info game being built up from W7M. EMP's out. They're going to try and bandit trick this. All first nade in. It's going to deal some considerable damage to Vertical, also to Sweater. Have those being chucked in from the rear. Volp's going to be able to take down one. Vertical can't get it. The wall's open now here for W7M. They have an opportunity to end it here, end it now in regulation. They don't want to give Oxygen a chance. You have to get rid of this flame. No chance for Oxygen to try and work their way in. If you open that door a crack, they will bust it down 1 foot at a time. It's going to be hers to try and seal this deal, John. He'll work his way in from weights. Remember, the site is downstairs. This entire upstairs area meant to deal with it on the roam clear. Some solid damage. Off onto Vertical, off onto Sweater. Big kills. JB92 thinks he knows where the last one is. Can't catch up, though, to Foxay. No, it's Dream instead that goes down upstairs. A 5 versus 2 now lay at the feet of Oxygen. It lays at the feet of Vertical and Foxay.
Both players off the site as well, trying to play to the extreme angles in hopes of trading this back out. Very tense scenario now presented to both of the remaining Oxygen members. For W7M, it's just a matter of taking a slow roll on this, droning out everything they possibly can, making sure they trade their way towards a win. They have more than enough of a player count to accomplish this. They just can't get jumbled up and give over multi-frags to the players from Oxygen. 1v1s as well are going to be a short path to failure on this execute for W7M. Foxay's given one regardless, though, and knocks out the first target in KZ. A little bit of a fumble here on the assault down the main stairs. Vertical, regardless, though, will be affected by the flash. He now tries to head back up top. Herds with the pre-fire. Neither player yields results, though, and the plant well on its way. Now down on the ground. We can see hard pings going on to multiple players, but Vertical, no actionable intel. A little too high on that shot there. Doubles back down the steps for a reset. Well, he also waits for his teammate Foxay to get in position, attempting to work it from up on top. But you'll notice W7M, they even have presence up there. They're going to find Foxay. He gets locked down, and so does the final member. It's W7M to be the first team in the grand finals of Six Invitational 2023.
The Bulls are on parade, ladies and gentlemen. W7M. The first team in our grand finals of SI 2023. The first team to be able to get a chance at that hammer. So very excited for our Brazilian squad. They came so very close in Jönköping, dropping their series to BDS, but they won't drop it to Oxygen. They'll send them to the lower bracket tomorrow, and they'll be waiting for someone on Sunday.
This also continues the record of LATAM's dominance overall as a region. This is now 3 major events in a row that a Latin American team has been able to at least make it to the finals and claim the second place prize. Will they be able to go all the way this time and lift the hammer, lift the yearly championship for Siege? All that's still to be determined, as they have a day off tomorrow. They get to watch the remaining matches. And Oxygen, in the meanwhile, will have to prepare for their own duel with Destiny, of course. Gets the winner from the lower bracket semi-final. That's bound to be a match in and of itself.